I don't have any shoes. I'll admit it. I will brag. Those players did not just go and whip that ass for us to be like, oh, good game. No, we whipped your ass. We took $800,000. Now we're partying with you.
Yeah, who cares if you're in the Power 5 conference if you don't win it ever, or you don't beat any of the teams in it? Like, what's the point of that? Wouldn't you rather win the conference and say, like, hey, my team is good, than lose the conference and say, well, our conference is good?
Well, I'll tell you what, I got two teams that got me gassed up. It's going to be a hell of a battle. Be like two dogs fighting over a milk bucket.
Look, they don't call me Tip for nothing. And my tip is, look out for the group of 5 this season. They've been taking it to the Power 5 year after year.
The only quarterbacks that ever get any love are from the Power 5. I could easily list off the top group of 5 quarterbacks I would rather have than those guys. I would be willing to bet that at least one of them is going to be in the running for the Heisman this year.
Group of 5 guys, episode number 31. Coming at you 31 times we've been at this thing. We got another good show. I mean, we've been hitting the road hard. We've been visiting some schools. We've been checking some things out. We had a kind of a busy couple weeks in this offseason. Of course, you had the NFL draft. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about my kind of solo mission out there to northern Illinois and that visit. We're going to talk about Zeke having a really, really tough time on his DraftKings app this weekend. And we got an interview, Texas State all-conference offensive lineman Kyle Hergel, who you may know from the viral video of him headbutting a teammate and knocking him out in the weight room at Texas State. Before we go any further, make sure y'all like and subscribe here on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Group of 5 Guys. Let's go around the horn. See what we got going on here. Jesse Grisham, how are you?
Hey there, Matt. Doing well. I've had a very, very busy past few weeks. Been to Tennessee, been to South Alabama, to Troy, went to Marco Island in South Florida, and then I was in Mississippi this past weekend. So I've been traveling. But Sprouse, I do want to get this off my chest. In recent week, there has been some breaking news, some sensitive news for this country. Probably one of the biggest or most highly debated subjects in the country's history. One of, and I don't like to get political. I really don't, but I do want to state my case on this. So I just want to say that I think that the NIL needs to have a cap on it. I think that, there's been a lot of discussion that the NIL is getting out of hand, and some people don't like my opinion on this, but there has to be a cap. I'm glad to see that this is coming back and being talked about, and so that we can actually get some regulations on this thing and people not take advantage of it. So I just had to get that off my chest. Thank you, America.
That is interesting, and it has been – I thought you might be going another route there. I mean, I thought you might have people with picket signs outside your house by the end of the night.
It was one of the more sensitive subjects in America. Not the most, but one of.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you, though. I mean, they got to do something, and it was getting out of hand. It was becoming a regular old free agency, even worse, really.
Well, when I was listening to, in all seriousness, when I was listening to ESPN radio this morning, it really is being discussed right now. They're looking to put regulations on this because it's not even about the players getting paid anymore. The people that were mad about that, they're okay with that now. That's been accepted. But the extent to which these teams are getting these players, there has to be some type of regulation because you're going to have 10 to 15 teams that other Power 5 schools aren't able to keep up with. And they're going to look at do some regulations. I heard like the LSU Tigers are falling behind to like the Alabamas of the world. So it's really interesting stuff. So I'm just glad NIL is going to have some regulations.
I it's not really Group of 5 related, but see the kid, the Texas quarterback that signed with Ohio State, and then he transferred to Texas. They're saying that he always wanted to go to Texas, but he went to Ohio State because they gave him a bigger NIL deal, and then he transferred to Texas and basically.
Wow! So you gypped him.
Yeah, but hey, man, screw you, Ohio State. That's what you get for offering a 17-year-old kid whatever you offered him. So,
yeah.
But anyway. Before we go any further, Zeke Anderson, It's good to see you, sir.
Yeah, good to see you guys. Good to be back. Hey, Swag Bear, I know you've been doing some traveling, but it's happy to be broadside in America. I was in Mexico this week, and they charged me 5 pesos to go to the bathroom.
What's the story behind that? I saw that. Like, is that serious? Like, did you have to go buy something to go to the bathroom? They wouldn't let you just come in the store?
Let me tell you this. So the buddy I was traveling with, Clay Butler, I think you know him.
Oh, yeah.
He had to do number 2 on the in
10
between
pesos.
Guadalajara and Leon, Mexico, and there is nothing between Guadalajara and Leon, Mexico, but agave plants. He stopped to drop number 2 in the gas station, and there is no toilet paper. He has an 89-cent international charge just to wipe his booty. So, and then I had to go pee later at a different establishment in Leon, Mexico, and I got ran down by a Mexican lady, and she was like, 5 pesos, 5 pesos. I was like, look, I don't have 5 pesos. I got $5. Here's $5. It's worth a little bit more than 5 pesos. And she's like, nope, no dólares, no tengo dólares. And I was like, okay, all right. So I had to run my buddy down to get 20 pesos to pay this lady 5 pesos to go to the bathroom. So
God.
It's a different world down there. They still blast heaters in the restaurant. They'll just rip out a cigarette inside, smoke one.
I mean, hell, we got those places in Georgia. There's plenty of bars I've been caught smoking heaters. Yeah.
Oh man. Anyway, Jeff Murphy, how are you this evening?
Man, I'm great. I don't know if I can follow old Mexico story, but I'm great, man. Sun is shining, weather's warming up here in Tennessee, and boys, is it football season yet? Because I got an itch and I need to scratch it, and it just seems like it's getting closer and closer, and I can't wait. But just fired up for this episode, and we have some fantastic voicemails. We had some people call in, voice their displeasure with some other schools in their area. So can't wait to get to those and talk some NFL draft stuff. Just excited to be here.
Jeff, I saw a stat today, or I don't know if you call this a stat, but today is, as we're recording, we have reached over the halfway point. So we are now closer to the beginning of football season than we are to the end of last year.
Oh, I love it.
We're over the hump. We're over the hump.
I love it. We're almost there. And we're actually in one of my favorite times of year, the NBA playoffs, and my Golden State Warriors are looking like they're championship form again. So just can't wait to them close out the Grizzlies hopefully this week and move on to the next round.
Yeah, well, if you guys would quit trying to purposely injure John Morant by slapping him in the kneecap.
Yeah, that was a really hard hit there.
I mean, I need somebody on the Heat to catch Embiid with an elbow to that orbital bone, because we're about to blow this series because of that guy.
I figured that's right up your boy PJ Tucker's alley, isn't it?
Dude, look.
That guy takes cheap shots on everybody.
Yeah, he does. He does. He's on the Heat, so he's on my team, but he is becoming a guy. Just get him out of there.
Sprouse, you want to know who he is? You know, he reminds me of he's one of the fakest tough guys I've ever seen in the NBA. Just put it that way.
Oh yeah, almost as bad as Kevin Garnett was in his day. Anyway, Tyler Tipton, last but certainly not least. How are you tonight?
Doing fantastic, Sprouse. Great to see you, boys. Yeah, I'm fired up about this episode. Ready to talk about the NFL draft. You know, saw some players get drafted where we thought they might get drafted. Saw some guys fall. Saw some snubs. Yeah. And Sprouse, I'm excited to hear about your NIU trip.
Yeah. Yeah, no question. Well, let's get to that before we get to the draft, because the draft we got a whole lot to cover on that, and then we'll get to the voicemails, and then we'll get to our interview with Kyle. But so NIU, so I was in Chicago for my wife had some bridal shower festivities and all that. So y'all know me, I can't sit still. So I realized I was about an hour and a half. So DeKalb, Illinois, where NIU is, about maybe an hour 15 west of Chicago, and when you drive from Chicago to DeKalb, what you see is cornfields and windmills. And that's about it. Now, you get to DeKalb. It's a cool little college town. You know, I didn't get to spend a whole lot of time there. I wish I would have been able to spend the night so I could check out, you know, the bar scene, the restaurant scene a little bit. But there is a sports bar that it was a little early for us to go in there called Fatty's, and it looks like the primetime spot. It's right across the street from the stadium. From what I understand, they have a fried potato salad that is big time. So if we get back up there into Mac country, Fatty's Bar and Grill is Jess, you all right? You okay?
Sounds delicious. I mean, God bless. Fried potato salad. I like fried
I'm all
potato
in.
skins
Yes,
or
it sounds
fried,
fantastic.
or stuffed potato. But a potato salad. I mean, that's like the third best side dish at a barbecue. Fried potato salad. I'm sorry, NIU. I just
Name the first two; they're better.
Yeah, please.
Baked beans and corn on the cob. Don't try me,
Baked
Tip.
beans?
Are you kidding me?
Homemade style baked beans with bacon and barbecue sauce? Yes, I mean it. Jeff, you
Yeah.
worked at a barbecue joint growing
You
up.
can
You
get
know
that in a
exactly what I'm talking
can.
about.
Talk
That's just
about
your
it.
Fort Lauderdale coming out. You get it in a can, Sprouse. No, you make it from scratch. Baked beans.
You're
Homemade
just
baked beans.
you're just hearing the word salad at the end of that thing, and
I
That's
know
exactly
potato
what it
salad.
is. That's exactly what it
a
is.
fried potato salad. I'll tell you this. Speaking of Murph working at the barbecue, their baked potato salad was big time. So I'm telling you, a fried one sounds pretty damn good to me.
Yeah. Well, it's,
Well, I don't know.
Sprouse,
Look,
some
if you
people have just a palate that's unrefined,
uncultured.
and you
Uncultured.
can just tell.
Look, when you
Come
have,
to NIU. Try our fried baked potato salad.
I mean,
I will.
don't know.
I'm definitely gonna
we
go
have
there.
4 or 5 locals tell you.
I'm sure
that-
they got ribs there that are probably pretty good. I don't know what the potato salad.
Well, yeah, but you don't go in there and order just potato salad. You get the ribs, and then when they ask you, "Hey, do you want the fried potato salad or the baked beans?"
I'm probably going to say baked beans unless they sell me on it because baked beans go with barbecue. So does potato salad, but it's probably number 3. It's hitting. It's in the hole.
So wrong.
Well, all the locals said the fried potato salad is really good, so you guys can listen to the locals or listen to Jesse there. But anyway, it looks like a good scene. And so here's the interesting thing. So there's 2, can't remember if it was 2 or 3, but like, what do you call it? Shipping containers, right? That they have in the end zone at NIU at the stadium, and they're owned by that Fatty's Bar and Grill. And so during the game, they set up. Yeah, I know, Jesse. Shipping containers are bad too, I guess.
The shipping containers are full of baked fried potato salad. Okay,
Probably are. No, but they open them up and it's like a little. They set up like a little tailgate. You know, kind of how some places have the beer garden. They set up a little tailgate where they got beer, and whatever. Probably just kind of the basics from the restaurant. So that's a cool little deal there.
It's a pretty big stadium. Like looking at it.
No, it's not very big. It's only it's what do they tell me? It's like 25 or 26K. It's only on either side. It's not in either end zone.
That's perfect for there, though.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Okay. Yeah, I'm visualizing it now. I had a brain fart. I thought it was like a horseshoe, but yeah, it's just two sides,
just
right?
it's just the 2 sidelines. So it's funny. So speaking of like the smaller stadium, and we know we've seen some of the Tuesday night and Wednesday night games, and unfortunately there's like nobody there. So I asked the coaches, I said, what's the vibe? Like, what do you guys like? And so the coaches and the staff love it. They love the weekday games because it gets them the exposure. They get the TV deal that they would not get. So they're not competing with anybody else. Now, he said the players don't really care. He said the players, to be honest, kind of like it because they get to play big time Division I college football on Tuesday, and then they get to have their Saturday and watch the other games. So, and I mean, I can speak from us being in college. I mean,
from experience, you're right. I loved it. I loved having Saturday off.
You love having it when we would have a Thursday or a Friday night game, and we love have a practice at 8 a.m. and go home and watch all the other games. The players like it, and of course the fans don't like it, and that's where the debate comes. And you think a school like NIU that won the MAC, that 8 years ago had a Heisman finalist and was playing in the Orange Bowl, you'd like to put 26,000 in that thing, but that ain't happening on a Tuesday night. So
when did those games come out, though, Sprouse? Like, do you know now when they have a Tuesday night game? Like, is it on schedule, or is it get predetermined like a few weeks in advance? Because if you think you are a hardcore fan, you would take off that Wednesday so you can go to the game.
Yeah,
that
but
might be the problem they're having.
The MAC starts playing after I think week 3 or 4. All their games are Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Every single one of them.
I just meant, is it on the schedule? So it shows right now NIU plays Toledo Tuesday night, October 10th. I just know if it was on the schedule already or not.
I don't know that they have this set date and time, but I think they do know every single year. We'll have to ask one of these MAC guys, but I'm fairly certain that after week 3, every single MAC game is either Tuesday or Wednesday. So
yeah, you got a good point. Yeah.
They know. But if you got kids, you're asking.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to take your kids to practice. You got to get your kids from school, and then you got to go to work the next day. So I don't know, but it's interesting. Facilities wise. So anyway, but they got. All the on and off campus apartments are right there too. So in my mind, I was never a regular student, but shit, dude, if it was a Tuesday night, why would I not? I would love for something to do on a Tuesday night. And I know when it was the off season, we were doing stuff Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I don't quite understand that, but I don't think that NIU is a big party school. I think it's a pretty.
Is it a commuter?
Well, so they had some. So up in that area, Chicago, Illinois, politics. They had a lot of effect from COVID and some economic stuff. So after they had went to the Orange Bowl and Jordan Lynch was in the Heisman running, they were putting in a bid to join. I don't know if it was the Big 12 or the Big 10. And then the state of Illinois and city of Chicago had a big economic crisis, and they lost a lot. They couldn't do anything. So they renovated after the Orange Bowl. They renovated facilities, and they're good. They're nice. They're not. I would tell you that they're a couple years older than some of the real nice ones we've seen, but they definitely get the job done. Weight room is huge. They do their indoor. I'll say this is big time. Full 100 yards. They can punt, kick. It's tall. But they got to have it up there. Dude, it was end of April and it was cold as hell up there. So, but they do have the indoor. Like I said, they were good. They weren't quite the brand new state of the art stuff that we've seen. It seems to be on par with who they're recruiting against in the MAC. So,
can you compare it to any school we've been to so far? I'm trying to think of a decent, like Georgia Southern, for example.
It's very similar to Georgia Southern. They have an indoor. I'll say they're. Yeah, that's a pretty good comparison. I think Georgia Southern had nicer meeting room, position group rooms. And other than that, yeah, that's actually a really good one. It's pretty similar to Georgia Southern for y'all that didn't get to make the trip. And then, man, again, shout out to Austin who gave me the tour. And then Coach Hammock, the head man, he's all about it, and he took some time out to say what's up. We got him a hoodie. So shout out to him. And then kind of cool story. So Coach Wimberly, who's their outside linebackers coach, he was at Liberty back circa 2005, 2006, and had South Florida as his recruiting ground. So he recruited me and a couple guys from my high school. I went in there and was telling them, and I always wonder if these guys really do they really remember? You're recruiting so many kids, and that was so long ago. And it wasn't like I walked in there and he was like, "Sprouse, what's up, dude?" But I started telling him, yeah, I went to this high school, and he right away knew the coach, knew where the coach was at, knew some of the other guys we had. So good on him. I don't know if every coach is like that, but that's pretty impressive. He talked to me on the phone a few times and probably met me in person once or twice. So that was a pretty cool deal. But yeah, NIU, man, like to get up there for a game.
Yeah, I can't wait to get up there.
And I knew they had that run at the Orange Bowl, and I knew Lynch had a really good year. I forgot that he actually was placed third in the Heisman vote. So he was a finalist in New York and all that. So pretty good there. And he is coaching one of the big Catholic high schools up there now. So
I'm not talking trash here on him, but was he a speaking of draft? Was he a bust in the NFL? I can't keep up with it. Did he go?
I want to say he was not really expected to go. I think he was like a late draft. I don't know.
I see Tipton. He's looking it up right now.
Look it up as we go. But I know they got beat pretty good by Florida State. I think that.
Oh, they did.
They did. I mean, that was, I think, Jameis Winston, right? The year before they won.
It was close. Yeah, it might have been right around that time. Yeah, I think it was like 2012.
The year after. Yeah,
it was 2012.
Yeah, 12 or 13. I think the 12 season 13 Orange Bowl or whatever it is.
Did they have just like memorabilia all over their facilities about that season, about that particular season, or they kind of moved on?
I mean, it's not like real prominent. It's not like they're not living in the past.
They'll live in the past.
They have, the stuff up. They have, the Jordan Lynch's jersey and his plaque and stuff like that. But it's not like, it's not like the whole facility is based around 10 years ago by any means.
A group of 5 guy getting 3rd place in the Heisman. That's big time, dude. Yeah. That's huge. That's really impressive.
Didn't you forget? You forget that, NIU, of course, they won the conference this year, but you forget it wasn't that long ago. They were, in that day, what a BCS team. So, and we talked about that with the coaches, like the MAC just being how we always say, everybody goes 8-5.
Yeah.
And we were looking at their schedule. They got a decent non-conference. I think they got Vanderbilt and Kentucky, as far as their Power Fives. So
both winnable games too.
Yeah, Kentucky's supposed to be pretty good, but Vandy, you got to think
they always underachieve.
Okay, yeah.
Kentucky lost their D coordinator,
but to Troy, right?
Yeah.
There you go. Nice. I like it. Well, so Tip, did you find anything on old Lynch there?
I did, yeah. So Jordan Lynch, he was undrafted. In 2014 draft, the Chicago Bears signed him as a running back, and then he ended up getting released. Looks like right before the season started, and he actually played in the CFL for a little bit. He played for the Edmonton Eskimos.
They gave him
a quarterback that came in 3rd place for the Heisman gets signed as a free agent to be a running back.
Remember, he had a ton of rushing yards and stuff that season.
I drank a lot of beer that year. I don't really remember.
Did he have – this might be just completely off the wall, but I want to say I remember him having a big-ass knee brace on all the time. He might have had – did he have any kind of –
I can't remember.
Late injury like that? I don't know. I might have made that up. But speaking of draft, NFL draft, one of the most exciting drafts I can really remember. Maybe it was just because I was hyped about all these Cincinnati guys and, potential for a bunch of first-rounders. But, Cincinnati was what, the 3rd highest in the country with players drafted?
Yeah.
Yep.
They had a great
third most. Yeah, third most with 9 total players. Now remember, guys, what all the TV analysts and stuff were saying that Cincinnati Bearcats didn't belong in the playoff, and teams like Notre Dame, who had 2 players drafted, Ohio State 6 players drafted, Wisconsin 5 players drafted, Michigan State 4 players. USC 3 players, Oklahoma 7, Clemson 2. So but Cincinnati doesn't belong in the.
No. Well, I think they were only less than. It wasn't even. It was Georgia and LSU had the most 2, I think, and Georgia set a record. I'm pretty sure.
Alabama had a good bit in there.
Yeah, they did. They always do, but I don't think they didn't have more.
They didn't have as many as they used. Alabama's got a lot coming back next year. We ain't talking about them
though. Don't get that Bama blood flowing.
That's America. The almighty Texas Longhorns didn't have a single soul drafted.
How about that?
Isn't that something?
I'm not asking, but that might be the first time they've never had a guy drafted.
I love it.
To say that, but that's crazy. The Texas Longhorns just have 1 player drafted.
I just thought it was fantastic.
Yeah,
it just shows how overrated they are every year.
But speaking of Cincinnati, Zeke, I want to let you know that me and my father-in-law were in the basement in Chicago watching this draft as everybody was having a little retirement party upstairs, and I I had everybody pulling for you. I mean, I was like, guys, my buddy's got this much money on the line, and these are, and I'm telling them, I'm like, well, this one's a lock, right?
And Sprouse,
falling off the board.
Before you get going, like I left the fantasy football group chat. Y'all may have realized this, and it's been amazing. But Ty Watson texted me because I'm in South Florida during this time at a bar, and Ty Watson's like, just so you know, your boy Zeke's in a little bit of a hole. And he's telling me the bets has to happen, and I'm just watching Malik Wilson. I'm telling my whole family about it. And I had the whole bar rooting for you, Zeke. So you had a fan club rooting for you, not only in Florida, but in Georgia. And I'm sure Jeff and Tip are doing the same thing. Unfortunately, though.
I was like, for the mother of God, Malik, please go.
Yeah.
Well,
that's what I kept saying. I said, he's still got Malik. That's a lock for sure.
Yeah, so I tell you what, I did not feel like I had any support. I felt like I was on an island, and that island got really lonely. Because as soon as Malik started dropping, I was like, oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. And then I was like, this has got to happen. I mean, the Falcons, the Falcons, the Seahawks.
All teams that needed a quarterback.
There's 3 teams that needed a quarterback.
Well, the Steelers are the ones that they're the ones that got you. They took what's his face?
The Steelers. The Steelers say we are willing to do. I read all these articles. Mel Kiper's just gassing it up. I got snubbed by Mel Kiper, and all these articles are saying, Steelers are saying they were willing to do whatever it takes to get Malik Willis, and he drops to 20, and they take Kenny Pickett. I mean, what is this?
Well, can you give our listeners a little bit of what the bets were? I mean, you got to go into detail, but maybe for Malik Willis is like, I'm pretty sure, didn't you double down the next day saying he's going to go to the second round?
Well, his first
one off the draft.
First quarterback taken. Yeah.
I doubled down saying, all right.
But what was the bet? It was first
minus
QB
13.5, right?
So the initial bet, which I have a rant about DraftKings, but I'll tell you the bet, so I'll please the listeners. So Malik Willis under 13.5, $2,000. Wait, $2,500, and then I had a parlay that Malik Willis and Kenny Pickett both get drafted. But I was so sure on the Malik Willis thing.
I thought
when
I was
put
pretty
$2,500
sure.
down, I was like, "What am I going to do with this money?" Because I'm guaranteed he is going.
Shout out to the guy that just listened to this on the radio and just dodged a car when you said $2,500.
So I did have a little house money from the football season, which everybody says that when they lose a bunch of money because they want to look like an idiot. I don't mind saying it, but I did have a little bit of house money in there. So Malik Willis under 13.5. Well, you know what? What did he actually get picked at?
Third round. Malik Willis was
50 something or 60.
Right? It was mid third round.
Just off by a little bit. And then so I was like, all right, well that. And I'll tell you my rant on DraftKings after that. But in my mind, I'm like, well, this Malik Willis thing is going to hit. DraftKings is not allowing me to put this much money on it. They're forcing me to use the money I've already uploaded up front to make other bets. So I'm like, well, you know what? I know this Malik is going to hit. So I might as well just take my chances. $2,000 on Malik Willis and Kenny Pickett in the top 10 to pay $10,000. And I was like, now if that one hits, I'll be excited. I'm going into this with just pure confidence. And I'm sitting at a bar. I'm sitting at Jonathan's Grill in Germantown, and people are just watching me just melt down.
The little beads of sweat just hanging off his nose, just dripping on the bar.
So I had Malik Willis under 13.5. I also had Malik Willis and Kenny Pickett to go in the top 10. And then I had Ahmad Sauce Gardner to go in the first round. Or to be the first cornerback selected. And they draft that jackass from LSU.
Oh, my God.
Stingley.
And
that blew
Sauce
my
Gardner
mind.
never even gave up a
forgot about
touchdown.
that,
In his entire collegiate career has never given has never given up a touchdown.
Mind blowing, absolutely mind blowing.
And they picked this guy.
Anyway.
So this is another thing. It just drives me crazy. They picked the guy from LSU because he's so to speak played in the SEC, but yet you don't take the Sauce Gardner who you've seen play in the college playoff against the highest competition out there, but yet you pick the guy from LSU because
to be fair, he's pretty damn good.
No, he
Sauce Gardner's
actually
probably
had
a
a
little better.
worse senior season than he did his junior year.
Well, that was why he was supposed to fall off, was because he didn't. They, according to Mel Kiper, the guy who said Malik Willis was going top 10,
I think Gardner's definitely
they said
better.
Stingley had a really good 19, and then he never really. They kept thinking he was going to get better and better, and he never really did.
He's due.
Yeah, and he never really did, and then
That is some shit.
we'll
See?
see. Yeah,
I'm sorry, man.
and
That sucks.
Here's the worst part about it is I text
More?
Tipton. I text Tipton separately, and I was like, Malik Willis 13 under 13. Man, it has to be. He was like, I don't know. You should probably take the over, and I just hammer the under.
God.
When
I
it,
did the
hey,
complete opposite. I
when
asked
in
him,
doubt, listen to Tip. The guy, he
Yeah.
has no emotion on any picks.
Yeah.
He just, it's
Complete
pure
rational.
logic,
Yep.
Very good point.
rationale.
Yep. Well, Zeke, man, I'm sorry. I mean, I would not be here today if that happened to me.
Do you still have kneecaps?
Yeah, do you
Well,
owe
you know,
somebody money?
here's the thing about DraftKings, and I hope someone
It
from
looks like he's
DraftKings
rolling his chair right now.
is I'm in my wheelchair actually.
He's got to do this.
Well,
Yeah,
actually,
it's-
guys, we're gonna start a GoFundMe for Zeke Anderson. So search Cowboy on GoFundMe and find that page. We need to help. We need to help a
Guys,
brother
just
out.
for
We need to get
15
him
cents a
back
day,
in
we
there.
can get Zeke out of betting debt.
wheelchair cowboy.
I wasn't sure about it though. I said the over, but like to Zeke's point, like you had the Panthers at 6, Falcons at 8, Seahawks at 9, even the Saints at 11. That
They just get
like,
scared,
all
man.
need quarterbacks, and then they went O-line, wide receiver, O-line, wide receiver.
Which
Yeah.
And
I
as soon
don't
as that happened-
necessarily blame him, but at the same time, like, golly, I think Malik's gonna be a damn good player. And
But can we talk about this? I mean, like, so you're getting a rookie contract to come in, and this league is quarterback driven now, and it's win now. If you don't have a quarterback, you're telling me that the Seahawks want to go out there with Drew Lock, the Falcons want to go out there with Mariota. Now I know they picked up Desmond Ridder later, but I mean, initially, like that's.
I
where my
honestly
mind
think
was at.
it was like draft day, the movie. I think once he started falling, everybody was like,
Yeah.
why is he falling? Why is he falling? Why is he falling? I really
Why
do.
is-
Yeah.
What's
And I
wrong
think,
with
but I
Bill
do think the
Callahan?
Tennessee Titans, you go back, yeah, Bill Callahan. But whenever you, or Bo Callahan, not Bill, whenever you look at what you're about to get into, drafts and steals, I think the Tennessee Titans definitely got to steal with him because Tannehill is, I don't
Yeah,
think he's
you-
gonna
you
be
guys know how
his
I-
future at Tennessee Titans. And I think you get Malik Willis back there with Derrick Henry, that's going to be a
well,
show.
here's the problem that you have because the Tennessee Titans fans are the same Tennessee Volunteer fans who are the most irrational fan
Bad.
base on
Yeah.
planet Earth. And after they go like 500, in the first like 6-7 games, they are going to be screaming for Malik Willis.
Mhm.
And with Tannehill's comments the other day, that he has just set a
I did
terrible.
not like that comment.
He's just set a terrible rift that was unnecessary, dude. Just be like, yeah, I'll help him out. And then don't help the guy.
That's it,
Like,
dude.
why in the world would you be like, it's not my job to mentor him?
He's trying to be Aaron Rodgers, I guess.
Listen.
So I
He's not
don't.
Aaron.
I don't know that any listeners that are non-Tennesseans know what Ryan Tannehill said the other day. So you may want to.
I just said he said that it's not his job to mentor Malik Willis.
Let me tell you something about Ryan Tannehill, okay? I dealt with that guy as a Dolphins fan for 10 years, okay? That guy was getting intercepted so many times by the scout team that he stopped practice and started dog cussing the scout team. And then somehow he's painted a picture of himself in the media as some, all-American. There he is. He's this prototype quarterback, typical SEC guy, A&M guy, or Big 12, I guess, back in the day. But, like, he's like that. And somehow he doesn't have the perception that he's one of those guys. He is. He's a shitty locker room guy. He just is, and he's not a good quarterback. I've been telling y'all that for years.
Well,
Feeling the
Matt,
heat.
God
Matt,
bless.
he's good at handing the ball to Derrick Henry, but you're going to find out how good he is this year because they just lost A.J. Brown. So you're going to see how good he is at throwing the ball.
I'll say this though, and in the interest of time, I think he's in a really good spot. Malik Willis is,
Yeah, for sure.
because he goes to a team that's been consistently drafting O linemen. They got a good O line. They obviously have Derrick Henry, so they got a run game. They got a defense. He's not, unless the psycho fans.
That's my biggest worry is that they
calling for him.
That they pull Tannehill, and then they throw Malik in way too early.
But either way, he's got, so long as Henry and the O line is healthy, he's got that fallback where it's not like he's on, the Lions or the Browns, where it's like to go in there, run for your life, and hope you stay healthy. But I think, I mean, Jeff, other than Malik Willis, who do you think is in kind of the best spot, the best scenario to succeed in the NFL?
Best scenario, I really like Desmond Ridder at Atlanta, and he's kind of in the similar situation where it's not quite like a full rebuild. They're definitely switching some things around, but he can sit behind a similar guy, similar style of play, but I think he's a lot better than Marcus Mariota. But as long as these guys have a year, I think it's very important. And if you look at the stats over time, the guys who have had opportunities to sit back and learn and watch rather than just being thrown in to not a bad situation, but not the most ideal, and their confidence just gets shot and they can never recover from it.
Yep.
So, I like Desmond Ridder. I tell you who I really liked, had a good draft, I think, was the Seahawks. And they take Kobe Bryant out of Cincinnati, and then they take Tariq Woolen out of San Antonio. I mean, I think they're trying to rebuild the Legion of Boom back there, and I love it. And they got our boy Levi Lewis.
And Caleb Ellaby.
They got both of them.
Got Lewis and Ellaby to battle it out at quarterback.
Sure did.
Undrafted free agents. So it's a good point. Speaking of the UTSA, how does Sincere McCormick go? Undrafted and then
blows my mind.
Not picked up right away. I mean, there's got to be something behind the scenes on that.
Yeah, I think so too. There has to be something behind the scenes.
Maybe an injury.
Maybe he can't interview well. I don't know.
Maybe, but I mean, everything we've heard from his previous head coach of San Antonio was all like the guy's the most outstanding human being ever. So I don't know. The Raiders signed him, so we'll see. They just got so many guys at running back there. I don't know. I hope he makes the team. I hope he can find a spot.
Who knows?
Yeah, it could be a physical scenario. You never know. I mean, they put them guys through so much that we don't even know about.
He ran the ball a lot.
One thing, last thing too, that really surprised me is Carson Strong going undrafted.
Yeah, man.
That blew my mind with a guy that's got great arm talent. And I know he had a knee issue, and I think that's why guys stayed away. But, I mean, he had great numbers at Nevada. He threw the piss out of the ball all over the field, and the guy goes undrafted. But he's with the Eagles. And honestly, sneakily, I think that I'm not a fan of Jalen Hurts, and I don't think Jalen Hurts is a good quarterback. I think somewhere down the road he doesn't cut it, and I hope Carson Strong gets an opportunity.
Remember on our last podcast when I said that give it a couple days into mini camp and all that? So I just Googled. I Googled Carson Strong. Here's your first two headlines. Philadelphia Eagles Carson Strong already looks right at home. Undrafted Eagles rookie Carson Strong quickly making a name for himself.
Boom.
Telling you, dude, that's the guy.
Yeah.
And
we know who's not the guy, and Murph just said it. Jalen Hurts ain't the guy.
He ain't it, in my opinion. But
and speaking of Eagles, they also signed this guy also went undrafted somehow. Ali Fayyad from Western Michigan.
Yeah.
He was just last year. He was just fourth in all of college football with 13 sacks, and guy goes undrafted. I don't understand, but good job by the Eagles for picking up those two guys.
Yeah, and that's going to offset Derek Barnett.
I just want to name a couple guys that got drafted that I think are going to make huge impacts on their teams. And I want to start out with DeMarco Jackson from App State going to New Orleans Saints. That's a good fit for me. I love watching that guy play at App State. I think he is going to thrive in New Orleans. And my second guy that I think was a huge steal for the Baltimore Ravens is your boy from Coastal Carolina, Isaiah Likely at tight end. I don't know how the Baltimore Ravens do it, but they just get great tight ends.
They do.
I think he is going to ball out with Lamar Jackson.
disagree that he's going to ball out. I think I'm sad to see him go to the Ravens. I think he's a steal of a player.
I think it's
he's
a
not gonna play
perfect
good
fit.
for
To be
Ravens.
honest, they run so many two tight end sets. I
Three-
think
He
it's
three
does.
tight
The
end
Ravens do a
sets.
good job throwing the ball to the tight ends.
I also don't like Lamar Jackson. It's okay. I just wish he could get somebody who could get him the ball.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Again, boys, when you're betting, think with your mind, not your heart.
Yeah.
Not the NFL MVP.
What?
I'm not a big fan. I'm not a big Lamar Jackson fan.
Oh,
but,
I'm not either.
But
Was he
I
not
think,
the NFL MVP like 2 years ago?
Yeah,
I
he
just
was.
Yeah.
I just want to see Isaiah likely go to somebody who can get him the ball.
I actually think they're going to use him more as a wideout. That's what I think.
Yeah, and that's probably the right
Yeah.
move.
yeah, he's kind of a tweener. He's not going to be the big
Yeah.
blocking.
And they got
tight
Mark
end or-
Andrews down there. They got a couple
Yeah.
other guys that can bang. I think they're going to use him and split him out. But
And we talk about it, the group of five. They just had a really good draft day. A lot of
Yeah.
people hated on that. But the Arizona Cardinals, they were very draft heavy on group of five guys.
I love it.
I mean, I want to throw names like Trey McBride from Colorado State, the tight end, and then I know they got Majai Sanders from Cincinnati, and they got another DN from San Diego State,
Yeah.
Cameron Thomas.
Yeah.
So it was overall for me. I really enjoyed just hearing that. I feel like it's always be a group of five team, so it was fun to see.
Yeah, I
Really
think
fun
what
to see.
we said last week, there was 61 projected draft picks from the group of five. I think was there 60 total that got drafted. I think so. If you include Malik Willis and some of the independents, so yeah, really good draft. But really excited to see where those guys go. But we got to get to these voicemails real fast. We got some good ones. Jeff's got them teed up for us.
Yeah.
It's on you, pal.
Yeah, let's get to it. Had 2 callers call in this past week. Awesome voicemail. So let's get to our first one.
Hey guys, Rocket Ryan B on Twitter. I wanted to call based on your tweet this morning about the most annoying fans in college football. And for me, it's got to be Ohio State, because you see people who went to UT like the Rockets, but when they play in September down in Columbus, they're going to be rooting for Ohio State. And the more obnoxious fans are the ones that didn't even go to college at Ohio State, just because of the fact that, Ohio football has pretty much sucked on the NFL level for years, and that's their one team that they can get behind. But still, it just drives me up a wall when I see Toledo grads rooting on Ohio State instead of their beloved, or should be beloved, Toledo Rockets. Anyway, thanks for a great podcast and a great Twitter follow. Take care.
Is that not what we talk about week in and week out? It's all over the country. It's happening.
Yeah. First of all, Rocket Ryan, an OG follower. I mean, one of
Probably
I
the
would
first 20
say
guys
one
that
of the
followed
first.
us.
Yeah, and been interacting. So thank you, Rocket Ryan. We won't forget you. If we ever get up there to Toledo, and I imagine, we all live in the South. I imagine those Ohio State fans are the same exact people.
Brutal. Nobody knows what a freaking Buckeye is. And I guarantee
don't.
the guys that didn't go to school there can't tell you either.
And I've told you guys this before. I'm not afraid to admit that I grew up, a bit of a Miami fan. And I'm just going to say this to the Ohio State fans. You can't claim a national championship when the referee throws the flag after the entire defense has already thrown their helmets off in celebration. So I'll say that about Ohio State.
What a piss poor national championship game. I'm with you, Sprouse. I was a Miami fan back then too. Whatever team's doing good, I'm a fan of.
Makes sense.
That explains a lot.
What else you got for us?
Yeah, let's get to the second caller, and he actually had a 2-parter. So the first part, he gets a little worked up. He forgets the main reason why he called. So, but let's check out this. He's got 2 voicemails. So I'll start with the first, then we'll go to the second.
All right, group of 5 guys. This is the Normulance down in Charlotte. I saw the message. You guys asking for the most annoying, idiotic, arrogant, ignorant fans in college football. Now, I know you said college football, but I'm just going to be real with you guys and say it's just college sports, right? And that school is none other than the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. Let me tell you something about these little blue fairy people, right? Their fans, probably 80% of them, didn't even go to school there, right? And so we get to hear, all this smack talk from all these Tar Heel fans that, they're lucky if they've graduated from high school, right? And they're talking smack to all of us, about football, about basketball, about whatever else. And then here's my favorite thing. We spent the last 30, 40 years listening from Carolina fans, from the Dean Smith people. Oh, we do things the right way. We don't cheat like the SEC. We do things the right way, the Carolina way. Well, guess what we find out? 20 damn years after Dean Smith dies, we find out they've been cheating for the last 40 years. Creating fake classes. They send their kids to fake classes, keep them eligible. At least in basketball, they win some games. In football, they cheat their asses off, and they still can't win anything. All while we have to listen to all these Carolina people, like I said, most of which didn't even go to school there, talk crap to us about our school where we actually did go to school. And as most G5 programs know, we can't break the rules, because if we do, we get slapped down. Chapel Hill, on the other hand, they skate right through. When their fans act like their crap doesn't stink, right? Absolutely aggravates me to no end at all, and I'm so glad that UNC Charlotte dropped the UNC and that we just go by Charlotte, because we don't want to be tainted by that terrible, awful brand that University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill has. My blood pressure's going up. I'm getting angry. Jimmy Touchstone, the rest of my Northern Tailgates folks, love you, man. Can't wait to see you in the fall. But until then, screw Chapel Hill.
All right, we'll get to part 2. But for those you don't know, those are Charlotte 49er fans. So, and here's part 2.
Hey, guys, this is the Normulence in Charlotte again. I just left a message, and I got so worked up, I forgot to actually tell you the fan story that aggravates me the most. So, like I said, I grew up in Charlotte. I grew up a Chapel Hill fan. So I actually grew up a Chapel Hill fan. My whole family were Chapel Hill people. So come to the late 90s, Charlotte had taken Chapel Hill to the wire twice in basketball, and so I washed my hands of being fans of them in anything, that we had as a sport at Charlotte, right? So diehard Charlotte basketball fan. We still didn't have football, though. Late 90s, football was still just a dream for us. So I go to Kenan Stadium to a Chapel Hill football game, and I'm wearing an Oscar Davenport jersey, and I'm wearing my Charlotte hat. I'm sitting in my season tickets in Kenan Stadium. I have a guy in front of me turn around and look at me, and he sees my jersey, right? But then he sees the hat. He sees the Charlotte hat. Now, mind you, the spring before this, we took Chapel Hill to overtime in the NCAA tournament. The guy looks at me and says, "You got a lot of guts wearing that crap in here." And I said, "What crap?" He said, "That hat." And I said, "Well, this is where I went to school. We just don't have a football team." And he said, "Well, I guess you couldn't get into a fine institution like this one." And I looked at him and I said, "Well, where did you go to school?" And he said, "Nowhere, but I've been a Carolina fan all my life." It was that moment. I stood up. I took off that Oscar Davenport jersey. I said, "You can have this. You can have this school. I won't have nothing to do with you guys." And that is the mentality of a Chapel Hill fan. But more than that, it's the attitude of all of those top P5 programs, whether it's Chapel Hill or Alabama or Southern Cal or Oregon or Georgia, you name the list. That's the attitude of their fans. And what we all need to do is what you guys have done, which is band together. We can hate each other when we play sports, but you know what? It's us versus the rest of them. So y'all keep up the good work. Normulence out.
I mean, that was just awesome.
Elite
I was surprised he beat the first voicemail, but the second voicemail was awesome.
I think they're just both great. And then shout out to Normulence, Jimmy Touchstone, and those boys. I mean, they are diehard Charlotte 49er fans.
Yeah, they are.
They might be the hardest core fans in Group of 5 that I've met so far, and I love it.
But he's
right.
They were
hardcore fans.
But he's right. We just got to band together, man.
Game, I think.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah.
I don't know. What's his face is going to getting separated because he can't put the heck on softball game down at the and he thinks it's hilarious.
Well, yeah. If anybody gets a chance to go, if you're a fan of another school and you get a chance to go to Charlotte and catch a game, link up with those guys, and you'll have yourself a pretty damn good time. So, Normulence, thank you, sir, for the 2 calls, and then Rocket Ryan as well. let's
them
get to
coming.
this interview with Kyle, man. But yeah, make sure you call the number 615-900-4286 and give us your hottest take, or we'll keep doing that, giving you a topic to call about if we want to get it a little specific for everybody. But we appreciate the phone calls, we appreciate the listen, and we'll catch you all on the next episode. Guys, our guest for you tonight, not only is he currently in Toronto, Canada, but an all Sun Belt offensive lineman for Texas State after just 1 year at Texas State. The guy, if you follow him on Instagram, Twitter, any of that, you'll see some of his weight room videos. I mean, the guy lifts more than you. I can tell you that, more than any of us on this show. And I mean, I'd venture to say he's probably one of the stronger guys in the country, but we found him after witnessing this video that went viral. I mean, Kyle, first of all, 500 pounds on the bench, that's pretty good. But why did you try to kill that guy?
I mean, it just happened, you know. I had so much adrenaline and just building up to that whole max out process. It was something you got to get your mind right to put up 500 pounds on the bench press. And
There's no doubt about that.
I hit it pretty good too. So
yeah,
I got capped off though at 500. So I just got up and he was in my way, and then just happened. I just gave him a nice little shot to the chin. We joke about it now though. It's a good thing that I hit him like in the cheek and the nose or the teeth or something. That would have been a bad deal.
So who was that guy?
Ty Evans. So that's our one of our quarterbacks we have on the team.
Gotcha.
Is he okay?
Oh yeah, he's great. He was a champ about it. He was a great sport, you know. Shout out to Ty. He's been awesome about it. He had a little fun with it too, so it was nice to see that.
Awesome.
That's crazy, man. So 500 on the bench. I told you before the show. I saw you on the safety squats there in the gym. Are you the strongest guy on the team?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I just work really hard at it though. I pride myself on that, right? Just being, weight room strong and just in there every day, all day.
Well, so I mean, I looked you up a little bit. You can hear it in your voice a little bit. So you actually played high school ball in Canada, right?
Yeah. So I played at a prep school actually, Football North. So we only play Ohio teams and kind of teams around like local area. So it was easy for us to drive over the border to get to, games on a Saturday night. But a lot of the times Canadian football is overlooked like that. So we have to go to the U.S. and we have to play like the top ranked U.S. teams to, have a shot hopefully at the NCAA level.
It's almost like I'd venture to compare it to how we always talk about the group of five gets overlooked. So you got to go to the Senior Bowl, or you got to go, you got to play in your, your non-conference games to get the shot at the NFL. So the prep school, that's probably like I don't know if you're familiar with like an IMG in Florida that just kind of travels and they're just going to play the best of the best.
So we actually play IMG. Like my team will play, like go down to Florida, and that's like their big game every year. They'll play IMG, St. Francis Academy in Baltimore. So my coaches, Larry and Jamie, do a really good job with that whole team. And when I'm home, I always go back and make sure, those guys have someone to see that made it out and is doing well. So I'm there every day with them.
That's cool, man. And then so out of high school, you end up signing at North Dakota, who's, obviously one of the top FCS programs. Is that like where are the Dakota schools? Like if you're growing up in Canada, you're playing high school ball in Canada, is that like where kids want to go? Or
it's so new, like football in Canada. I'm like one of the like real like first generation guys to get out. Like it's been such a new thing, right? But I don't know. It's kind of like Canadians are so happy with wherever they can go because it's such an opportunity for them.
Yeah.
Wherever. But, they do a really good job at recruiting Canada. Some schools do a really well job at it, some not so much. And mostly all of them are tapped in with Canada, but they do a really good job at recruiting Canada.
Yeah, that's what's up. And then so North Dakota, you guys, you make it to the Final Four
No, that's North Dakota State.
Wow, I was thinking y'all had I know North Dakota State, they win every year, but I was thinking y'all made a nice little run there. So how do you end up, first of all, from Canada, but North Dakota ending up at Texas State? How's that happen?
Well, I was just working real hard in North Dakota, making sure I played all my games. I did what I did there, and I started how many games, and I just entered the portal. And for some reason, my recruiting like picked up in Texas. Like that was like the very first kind of stop that I kept gaining interest from, local schools like Houston, Texas State, Baylor, like TCU at a point there, Texas Tech. Like it was a weird like pocket that I just hit Texas for some reason. And Texas State, and I was lucky enough to get an offer from them and be able to join on with them. But it was a weird deal that I did pick up in Texas so much at the time I was in the portal. But I'm glad I did.
When you did transfer from North Dakota, and we're getting traction from those Texas teams, like how many teams or how many schools were looking at you, and how many visits did you take to these schools, and why did you pick Texas State out of the other schools?
I think I want to say I talked to a lot of the teams except for A&M and Texas. Those were like damn near the only two I didn't talk to. And then the O-line coach and the head coach at Texas State I had a really good relationship with. So I played for Jim Turner when I first got to Texas State. So I played for him for a year, and then he moved on to the USFL. But right now I have Coach Hamilton, which I have a really good relationship with, and even in their whole recruiting process, I had a real good relationship with him. So it was just kind of a perfect fit, and his coaching style matched my play style and how I like to play the game and how I like to be coached. And, Coach Fab always had a good relationship with me and my mom during the whole recruiting process. So it was like a perfect situation. And how can you not love San Marcos? Like, I don't know if y'all have ever seen it, but it's really, really nice there. So, yeah.
No, I mean, I know I've never been down there. So kind of rolling into that, what do you like about Texas State? Kind of give us a rundown on the school, the area, just that way, our listeners know, and when we go down there, we have an idea of where we're going to.
Yeah, San Marcos, they have the river that runs right through campus. So my apartment is like 10 minutes away from like a walk from this river that's crystal blue that you can just jump right into, and then you can float right down it. And then the facilities coming from North Dakota I was just shocked with. Just stadium's really, really nice. And just the whole vibe of Texas, because I grew up like not really going to Texas at all, but I kind of fell in love with it when I went down there and I saw everything. I was like, God damn, this is something that I want to be a part of. And, it really intrigued me being a part of a program like Texas State, because I wanted to be able to, facilitate my like abilities and have that team grow and hopefully help them turn it around before the time I'm done there. So it was something that I just couldn't pass the opportunity up to. Just how nice that whole town is.
It's a couple things. I know, we haven't been there, but first of all, that river sounds incredible.
Amazing.
Second of all, just looking at pictures and stuff, I know Texas State's one of the schools that's done one of the kind of the end zone facility projects. That's kind of in line with what a lot of the Sun Belt teams are trying to do. But it's funny because, we were actually talking about, were you recruited there when you transferred? Was that the year that no high school kids that they didn't? So there you go. Because I'll tell you, I was making fun of it. I was like, well, how in the hell does anybody not sign a high school kid? But you go get a guy that comes in and is all conference right away, I would say that's probably a successful recruiting.
Yeah, it was a unique thing that, they decided to do as a staff, but, looking back on it, it was almost like they got ahead of it. Now, I think that was like the goal of the transfer portal, right? Because why go get a high school kid that, is, 4 years and has that free transfer when you can go in the portal, you can get a guy that has, 4 to play 3 where you can transfer again, where he's locked in and you're going to have him for at least 3 years. And that's, I think, the thinking of the whole process of it all.
So yeah, you're the first guy we've had on here that kind of went through that transfer portal process. So, walk us through it. Like, you just tell your coach in North Dakota, like, hey, look, man, I'm trying to go elsewhere. Or do you kind of have do you have in your mind already, like, that you're gonna get offered, or are you betting on yourself there?
I bet on yourself, really. You
Yeah.
know, that's just something. You know, I thought I was a great player. I thought I did what I had to do in North Dakota, and it was just, I think it was the right timing. I did what I wanted to do there, and you know, you just hit up compliance and say, hey, like I'm gonna put my name in the portal, and once your name goes in the portal, as far as I know, it goes in the database, and then that database is dispersed to all the coaches around college football, and then Twitter is the real big facilitator of it all, and you know, they hit you up on Twitter, and then you kind of just talk and start conversations like that. But it's a wild place being in the portal. It can be overwhelming, and you know, a lot of coaches, a lot of people trying to pull you which ways, but you got to have a good support system around you for sure, and be able to, you know, manage all that properly for sure.
Absolutely. So was Texas State recruiting you at all out of high school? Did you already have?
No.
Not at all. Huh.
I only had one offer out of high school, and I was a late offer. North Dakota offered me like, shoot, I want to say in like February, March, maybe like the end of March, and I didn't have any stars. I didn't have nothing but a North Dakota offer, really.
Huh. That's crazy, man.
It just goes to show you all that stuff doesn't mean anything. The recruiting stars and how they rank, especially high school players, like you can just get so much better, you know, year after year. That's what it's all about. But we've talked a little bit about the Sun Belt and how tough that conference is. If you can, man, just give us a little preview about Texas State football this year. How are you guys looking, and what do you think?
Man, I'm really proud of my guys, and you know, that team that we put together, it's gonna be something fun to watch. We got explosive playmakers on the edge, and we have a really good offensive line, like one of the best. I've been lucky to play with some good offensive lines, but this offensive line is real special.
You got the strongest guy in the Sun Belt too, right?
Yeah,
no question.
Yeah, but we got like, you know, Dalton Cooper holding it down on the left side. He's an all Sun Belt offensive lineman. Alex and Evan at left guard. My buddy Russell, he's at center. He was my right tackle last year. We bumped him inside myself, and you know, one of my favorite guys on the team, and you know, all of them are my favorite, but one of my best friends now, Richard West. So he's actually a D2 transfer, and he's from Texas A&M Commerce. So we're just like, you know, we call ourselves like just a bunch of misfits, you know, like we're kind of like the guys no one really wanted, right? We all have a different story getting there, but it's like we all have the chip on our shoulder that, you know, whatever it may be. Like Alex is a JUCO kid, Evan's a FCS kid, I'm an FCS kid, Richard's a D2 kid, Dalton's a high school kid, Russell's a JUCO kid. We're just all like hardworking guys that get our lunch pail up every day and just get after it, because that's the culture that we want to start building at Texas State, and I think we've established that.
I love that.
Yeah, that's big time. Well, we talked about it before the show. So, and for the listeners, so Texas State goes 4-8 last year, but other than the Louisiana game, which we know how good they were, every single game on the schedule they were in was a one possession game into the fourth quarter. So we talked to Teddy Gallagher at Coastal a couple weeks ago, and that's kind of how they were in 2019. So in that locker room, you know, they had the confidence. They knew, you know, we're a couple plays away from making that 4-8, 8-4, and then, you know, or whatever. So, you know, talk about the confidence that you guys have going into the year, and then, you know, how you take on paper, it looks like a whatever losing season, but, you know, I hate to claim moral victories, but, you know, can you talk about just going into next year, how you're going to build on that?
Yeah, you know, I think it's been a theme throughout our entire offseason, just knowing that we were so close in every one of these games that it's just something that we have to work on and be more prepared for the next season, is just learning how to close. And I think we did have such a young team last year where it was a lot of guys, you know, first taste of college football, but learning how to finish games and close these big, close games is something that, you know, Coach Spavin, the entire coaching staff, has just harped on us the entire offseason. And I think, you know, spring ball, we took some big steps for, like, in the sense of just learning how to close and compete in those late games, because our spring ball was a Shark Tank. It was just competitive, just bloody practices. We got after it. It was something really cool to be a part of, and, you know, see that unfold and know that the guys still have the chip on our shoulder, the bad taste of the 4-8 last year that we want to correct this year, because that's what we can do.
That's interesting about spring ball because we've kind of checked in on a few schools, and it's all been different because of the transfer portal. Some teams are having full blown spring games; they're hitting every day, and then other teams they just really don't have any. I mean, they don't have any bodies out there because the transfer portal has so many kids in limbo. So you guys obviously in the last couple of years have done well. You know, getting transfers. Are most guys staying once they get there?
Yeah, because like I said before, you can't really transfer once you've already transferred
Yeah.
in unless you're a grad transfer. So it's kind of like you're locked into it. And it's such a good culture to be a part of right now. And it's a lot of guys, all of our guys are just bought into what we're trying to do and really change the way people view Texas State and their football program.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, Texas. We talk about it with some of like Florida and Ohio. There's so many Division I schools, but also there's so many high school kids that can play. And in Texas, you got JUCO there. You got whatever you want, you know. And then to go up to Canada and North Dakota and find a guy like you, I mean, I'd be pretty excited if I was a Texas State fan, kind of under the radar too. Nobody's hyping y'all up, so you
I
guys
would like it. Just calm, cool. Just no one needs to talk about us. We'll just go out there on Saturdays and prove it to everyone.
Well, it's like what you mentioned, Kyle. You guys are young, but you've gotten that experience, and that's going to help you guys. That is a massive advantage to do what you mentioned about finishing for this upcoming season.
Funny because you'll look on the field and you're going to see like a sophomore that started 10 games in college already because of the transfer portal. Like I'm technically a junior with 31 starts. It's just wild to see that. And across the board at all positions, we have guys that started multiple games in the NCAA, but are technically just like sophomores and juniors out there. So, yeah.
You ain't going to be able to be a sleeper team too long if you open up at Nevada and win that game.
Yeah.
And then you're home FAU, and then you're at Baylor. And God knows everybody thinks Baylor's world beaters. So, God, I hope y'all.
Yeah,
I don't know if you guys saw last year's game, but we played them real
Yeah,
well.
I know.
Yeah.
It's a single-digit game.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole way through. So I hope y'all can. I mean, I'm supporting everybody in the group of five, but I hope to God he smacked Baylor's ass. That's all. That's all I'm rooting for. Well, Kyle, what's next for you? So, I mean, you got this year. I mean, you got NFL goals. Are you trying to be a power lifter or what?
No, I don't want to be a power lifter. Maybe when I'm done playing football,
Yeah.
but no, this year, it's something that I really wanted to do, and I'm like I told all my coaches, the goal is to be able to come out this year, and my goal would be to go to the Senior Bowl, something that I really wanted to do since I entered Texas State. I knew I could have the platform to do that, but if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen, and I'm always open to being able to come back. But as of right now, it stands that I want to declare my name for my future, and it's something that I want to do for sure.
That's big time.
We're definitely rooting for you for sure, man.
Thank you.
And real quick, so if we take a trip down to San Marcos, where's the spots we need to go check out around campus, around town? Give us a quick little rundown.
You gotta hit the river. The river is like the first stop you guys have to go to. And there's some badass barbecue around San Marcos.
Yeah.
Like the food, like the Tex-Mex, and just the barbecue is just on point. And coming from Canada and North Dakota, you go there, it's like, whoa, like the food is incredible. But I was actually told, because my buddies, like, they're real big golfers. So like my entire office line golfs. I don't golf, but everyone says you guys golf.
Yeah.
Golf.
Yeah, absolutely.
I want you guys to come to San Marcos. I told them I had to say you guys gotta come golf with them. That's what they want to do. They want you guys to come to San
we're
Marcos
there.
and golf with
We
them.
are there.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
So it's 30 from Austin, 30 from San Antonio. It's the middle city. So you guys ever want to come down and golf with these guys, we'll have a good time.
Let's do it, man. That sounds like a fantastic time.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I would love to do that. My God, I love these guys.
Yeah.
Nobody else has invited us to golf, Jeff.
You're right.
yeah,
You're right, Sprouse.
my buddy Richard, he was like, gotta tell him I want to golf with him, like, to go out, on like Fridays and Saturdays, and we'll just play 18, and it's actually pretty competitive within the team. There's a couple good golfers we have. I don't know golf, but from what I hear, it's actually pretty good.
Well,
We are
we're not,
absolutely there.
Yeah.
Yes.
yeah, for sure. We're
If we
not
can
very
get down
good
there,
at playing golf, but we'll do it.
Yeah.
We'll drink plenty
We have a
of
great
beer and
time
swing the
playing.
bats.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're
that's
good
it.
at all the other
Yeah.
stuff that's not golfing. But well, Kyle, we'll let you go, man. We appreciate you coming on. If you want to plug your social medias, like where can everybody find you? Where can they? I mean, I know I'll retweet all your lifts and stuff. I'm all into that. So, what's your Twitter? What's your Instagram? If you got TikTok, any of that stuff?
I don't really do TikTok. I'm just on like Instagram. I think it's like my first name Kyle _ and then my last name Hergel Hergel, and then Twitter I think it's Kyle Dog 60 DAWG 60. Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Well, man, we appreciate you, dude. Guys,
That's
Kyle
awesome.
Hergel, Texas State Bobcats on the rise, 2022. Another sleeper team.
Look out for him.
No doubt. Thank you guys. I appreciate you guys having me on, taking the time.
Yeah, dude. Thank you.
Appreciate you.
All right.
Need to check in maybe mid-season or something. See how things going.
No doubt. We'll do it.
You get limbered up for the golf tournament.
That's right.
Right. San Marcos.
Yeah.
All right, man. We appreciate you.
All right. We'll see you.
See you, man.
Thanks, Kyle.
Jeff, I say it every single time that we do an interview, but we got to go to San Marcos, Texas now.
I mean, I don't know if I've ever wanted to go somewhere so bad in my life. I mean, you talk about a river, you got bars, you got restaurants, you got golf, Texas State facilities. Just tell me where to sign, bud.
Dude, I've never spent a whole lot of time in the great state of Texas, but I think I could spend a few days in San Marcos. I think that'd be a good time. But Kyle Hergel, all Sun Belt offensive lineman. That dude, I'm telling you, y'all go look at that kid's Instagram. Like, if NFL doesn't work out, he should go to the WWE or something.
Yeah, strongman competition.
Dude's yoked. Yeah, for sure. Well, he's Canadian. He's probably similar to like cornbread.
What was
Midwest type guys.
Was Brock Lesnar? Was he Canadian or I could be wrong? He was like Midwest.
Brock was from Minnesota, I think.
Yeah, that's right. He was Minnesota.
Same thing, right?
Yeah.
But no, anyway, that was tight, man. So Kyle, thanks for coming on. Shout out to all your boys on the O-line at Texas State. We're all about the O-linemen. Ain't no question about that.
Y'all boys get ready. If we can make it down there, we're gonna be swinging the sticks, playing 18 holes of golf. So y'all boys get ready.
I got to get on the foam roller starting tonight to make sure I'm nice and loose. But yeah, Kyle, thanks for coming on. Normbulance, Rocket Ryan, thanks for calling in. You guys don't forget to do that. Anybody can call. If you're a player, a coach, you just want to give a shout out, whatever you want to do, man.
Yeah.
We'll take the calls and we'll play the best ones we get on air. But don't forget, give us a like, give us a subscribe, share, whatever you can do to help get our word out, because all we're trying to do is get your word out as a group of 5 players, coaches, and fans. And y'all follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Group of 5 Guys. And that hotline number is 615-900-4286. 615-900-4286. Group of 5 Guys. We are out of here. We'll see you in a couple weeks.